Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of my PI Dream. I have been offline the last couple of days. I had some business where I had to go pick up some materials, and I should have brought you along when I picked those materials up, but what I'm going to do to make it a little bit shorter and a little bit more condensed, I'm going to show you some of the items that I picked up yesterday, as well as talk a little bit about successful implementation and completion of projects. I got to thinking about certain things yesterday, and we always talk about the process of getting things accomplished, the goal, the plan, and the execution, but there is actually one more element that helps with timely completion of a project or a goal that you want to accomplish, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today in today's episode. It was beautiful when I got up this morning. 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was just absolutely wonderful. I walked outside. I took the pups for a walk, and if you look right now, you can see the sky. The sky is turning into the normal rainy season that is becoming a pattern here. This year, we didn't have this last year, the amount of rain. If you talk with anybody who's been in the Philippines this year, you'll see this has been an unusual rainy season. So that being said, I have things to do today, and we're going to talk about some of the things that we're going to do, and I'm going to show you some of the items I picked up for the projects that are going to be happening over the process of this week. So anyway, this week, what today is, maybe not this week, because I think today is Wednesday. It seems to me, yeah, it's Wednesday. So half of the week is already gone in normal terms, but again, in retiree terms, every day is a Wednesday, every day is a Sunday, every day is just a normal day of the week. So let's go ahead and get today started so I can explain some of those things to you. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Now, before we get started with today's episode, I just want to do an update. Remember last week we did the canola oil and dishwashing detergent solution, that little, what was it, half teaspoon and a teaspoon and a half of the two solutions to try to rid ants, the anthills on the lot here. And I said I was going to do a follow-up, let you know, and believe it or not, I think it was right here, no, here. And it's gone. They are gone. And that was about 1 liter, or less than 1 liter, about 7. Remember, we used the wine bottle there, 750 milliliters of that simple solution. And that ant bit is gone. That's just some mud remnants of the sand that was up on the top. Now I have another problem with some ants back up by the Kubo. I'm going to mix up here. That is the first on my agenda today, the first item that I want to do. The ants are just absolutely horrible here in the Philippines. I went to a pest control company. Remember, they came out to my house, I believe that was Saturday. This is Wednesday. And they said they were going to call me up with a follow-up and a quotation. They did the ocular, and I haven't received anything from them. And that's something you're going to find in the Philippines a lot of times. If you're not persistent, if you don't do follow-ups, a lot of the companies, the vendors, especially post-purchase, pre-purchase, normally you don't have this problem because they want to sell you something. Normally you don't have this post-purchase, but if you do have a problem post-purchase for if something breaks or a follow-up, you're probably going to have to contact them several times before you get a solution to whatever your problem is, if you have a problem. So just expect that when you're in the Philippines. And it's probably the same. Sometimes you have that in the U.S., but not on the extent as you do over here. So I am going to treat that hill over there, and let me show you some of the other things that need to be done today and some of the things that I did yesterday when I went to Alabang and to Laguna, Calamba, Laguna, for some items for around the house. We are going to kind of go in reverse order today. I'm going to show you a few things that I picked up yesterday, but it was at the second stage of my trip yesterday. I went to Calamba, Laguna, and in Laguna, I picked up some plants at some of the plant nurseries out there. Now this isn't from the plant nursery. I want you to see these plants right here. These were actually on the way back from the plant nursery. My neighbor, Pat, you remember, I don't know if you remember Pat and Jesse. They're some of my neighbors here in the subdivision. Well, they were actually cleaning up their garden, and they were about to throw all of these away. This, as well as, I don't know if you can see the palm over in the corner of here. I have to set that back down in the ground a little better. Maybe put a support post with it. But they were throwing all of these away, and that's I forgot what's the name of that palm. Oh my goodness! I bought some of these yesterday, and well, they told me they were throwing them away, and I said, well, if you're throwing them away, why don't you give them to me, and I'll plant them somewhere in the garden over here, let them propagate a little bit, and we'll have some extra plants. And that's what they did. And I want to thank you, Jesse and Pat, for giving me these plants. So we'll find a place. That's one of the things I'm going to be doing early this morning after I treat the anthill. The object of the morning, while it's nice and cool right now, is I want to do some yard work. I want to do some planting, and I will show you something else, part of the Laguna trip yesterday, that I will be doing as well. One of the places I stopped at yesterday in Laguna was one of the plant nurseries, and the object for yesterday on that stop was to pick up 3 pots and 3 plants, 1 to go on the front of the house and 2 to go inside the house by the new furniture that we put inside the sunroom to put on both sides of the couch. And I will say, mission accomplished on that. So let me show you what I picked up. Yesterday, what I ended up picking up was a few palms. I love palms. And some of the smaller palms look really nice for inside and on your porch. I picked up the terracotta pot here, and I got this small palm here. Now, it is actually set too low. It's just still inside its bag, because that's one of the things that I have to work on today, is I have to get some soil, put some soil in there, raise the level of the plant, and get it set properly so we can start watering. They did not have a base, you know, the little plate base, so any of the water that you get inside there that filters through, and if you overwater, it will get caught inside the basin. I still have to find that. They did not have that in stock yesterday. Let's go inside the house and take a look at the ones I put inside the sunroom. So as you can see, also inside the sunroom, I got one of the clay terracotta pots, but these have the base that will catch the water as it starts to drain. And these are also small palms inside here. I have this exact palm in the US, but an artificial one, a not real one. So it's kind of cool having the real one that we'll be watering. I have to do the same to these. I have to take the plant out of the pot here and set them down, get some more soil, put the soil inside both of the pots, and have those completed. I want to slowly start getting the house with a feeling of life inside here, so we'll be working on that. Still haven't pulled the plastic off. That's how busy I've been of the rattan furniture that we picked up 3 days ago. And also yesterday, I picked up, I got my handy dandy SM bag. I didn't go shopping at SM, but I always carry a bag, one of these type of bags. What you need, this is a tip, always carry a bag like this inside your backpack or whenever you're traveling, maybe a couple of them, because a lot of the places that you go to, they don't provide bags for you. A lot of times they'll have a box or they'll wrap up the boxes, such as these boxes right here I picked up at another store. We'll talk about these in just a minute also. They will just wrap them up like that, but if you have a lot of little items, always carry one of these bags. You can pick them up usually for 30, 40, 50 pesos when you go shopping in some of the shopping centers like SM, the department store, or inside their grocery store, their supermarket. Well, anyway, let's look at what I picked up inside the bag. Ptrap, I got the Ptrap, and this is the Ptrap for the CR on the first floor. I picked up an assortment of granite cutting, or not cutting, these are, well yeah, cutting and some polishing blades, all different. Now, if you're going to do any of your granite yourself, and you cut your granite, you need to clean it up when you get done. The workers here did not do that. All they do is they shape it and they leave it in the same finish, but that's not the finish. You want it to be a polished finish. So here's a tip. When you have granite installed, if you have professional granite install folks coming in, they're going to handle everything for you. They're going to cut your granite and they are going to finish it to a total finish where it's nice and clean and polished. If you have your contractor doing any of your granite work, your slabs or your edging or things like that, chances are you're going to get it cut and a little bit of shaping, but they're not really going to do a lot of the fine finishing, which makes the top of your slab that you get from places like City Hardware, Wilcon, or CW, which makes them match. You're going to have a rough section that's unfinished, and your polished section that you get from the company that you purchase it from. So if that's the case, you might either want to buy these for your workers or do it yourself, which is what I did. Let's kind of go through some of the stuff that I have here. Actually, I have a Bosch grinder, and I have a 4-inch diamond blade. This is for cutting, so if I need to cut any of my granite. And the rest of these that I have here are polishing pads. And you have make sure that you get it for the correct size of your grinder. You're going to use your grinder as a polisher. And if you look on the back, mine is a 4-inch, so these are all 4-inch. So what you're going to do is when you are doing your finishing, your polishing, it's just like doing wood. Working with granite is just like working with wood, with sandpaper. If you work with wood, you start with a coarse grit to get the roughness, the big roughness off, and then you slowly get to a finer grit as you go down and go down and go down to get to your final finish, which you'll do your polishing. Then, once you get your final sanding down with wood, you would go with a polyurethane or varnish, whatever it is, just to get your final coat on there so it's nice and flat and clean. And it looks good and it feels good. Now, with granite, you do almost the same thing, but the pads are just a little bit different. You can't see from the front of the pads, but I'm going to start from the back. On the back, you're going to look. You have a grit size. You have 50, 100, 150, up to 300 for coarse, and then you have on fine 500, 800, 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 for fine. And the way it works is the smaller the number, 50 as opposed to 300 on the coarse, 50 will take the most off. That's going to do some major grinding or polishing. It's the grit on the sanding pad itself is much thicker. It gets the biggest amount of roughness off. As the number gets bigger, it becomes smaller grit on the pad, and that's as you're getting closer. So you do stage by stage by stage. So what I did was, I didn't want to buy every one of these. I'm going to try to do with the least amount of applications as possible. So what I did, I got a 150, which is in the middle for the coarse. Then I have a 1,000, a grit 1,000, which brings us into the middle of the fine. And then I got a 3,000, grit 3000, which is going to be the very last one before I do any polishing. All right, so that's what, and it's basically like a sander. You have these little discs, and you take your grinder and you go over your granite wherever you cut, and you hone it down to a nice fine finish. Now, there's also one more thing that you should do. Oh, before I say what you should do, this is the backing for the pad. I don't know if you noticed it, but these have like a Velcro back, and they connect to this disc pad that goes on the grinder itself. It's a backing pad. They stick together. So you take this pad, it sticks to this, and that way you can quick remove it off of your grinder for your polishing. Now, the very last stage you should do some type of a waxing. You can wax with a buffing pad, or you can wax by hand, and that will give you that final coat finish. Now what we do in the US, and I keep asking around here, and I can't find anybody that has it, I can't find anybody that has granite sealer. You should really do granite sealer on your granite in a wet area, like out on the porch that we have back here, the barbecue grill porch lanai. That granite out there should really be sealed because it's exposed to water all the time. Or if you're in a shower area when it's going to get a lot of water on it. I'm still looking. I can seal it at any time, but I have not found a place around here that has granite sealer. And all that does, it's a waterproofing. It keeps water from penetrating into the granite. Now, you know granite is a natural stone. And you say, well, if it's a natural stone, stones outside always get water. And it's not such a big deal around here. But if you had this granite slab, say like in North America, in Canada, anywhere where it gets freezing, water can penetrate down into the granite. It can expand when it freezes, and it can crack your rock, your granite slab. Here, just to prevent any type of molecules from getting inside there, here mainly what we worry about is algae growth and bacteria and things like mold and mildew. That's really what we're concerned about here. And you'll get rust spots inside there too, because remember, there's things like iron inside granite, and you want to waterproof that as much as possible. I am still looking for that. I think I'll be able to find it somewhere here in the Philippines, just not at my local stores. I also picked up a flexible Ptrap, and this is going to be used for the sink that's inside the breakfast bar. My builder, when he put the pipe in the wall, he didn't estimate properly the height of the 2-inch pipe that goes into the wall to get rid of the water. It should have been lower because the sink was an under counter sink, and you don't use the same specifications as you do an above counter, and it's a little bit too high. So we're going to put this it's like a modified Ptrap kind of a thing, but it's flexible. This flexible hose, we'll make our own little Ptrap with this flex hose right here, so we don't have any sewer gases coming up inside the bedroom, and it should fit properly. Let's see what else we have inside the bag. Of course, I had to get some more grout. I had to get, for the sink fixture inside the breakfast nook upstairs on the second floor, the original hole that was cut for the water fixture inside there was a smaller fixture because it was a chrome fixture, which is different from the antique one that I purchased on AliExpress. The one on AliExpress is a bigger pipe, so I had to purchase a diamond hole saw, and this diamond hole saw here is almost twice the size. This is a 35 millimeter diamond hole saw, and this will be used to cut the hole for that new antique fixture, so we can have water flowing through that as well. Also, what I picked up a caliper. Every time I see a tool that I think I'm going to need, I like to pick it up because sometimes it's not in stock. But I picked up this caliper. This caliper is used for doing measurements right here, precise measurements. It has, it's like a ruler. And on the ruler, you can take it and you can put it on things like, you can measure the diameter of pipes and things like that. And that will help you out, especially when it comes to when you're looking for bolts and screws, so that you get the right nut that will connect up to it. And you can go to a store and you can say exactly what it is. So many times I've estimated in my mind what the size is. And you know, the mind is not as accurate as the mechanical device. At least this mind isn't. and these will make sure that whatever your measurement is precise. I was so glad I scored this yesterday. Oh, and somebody was asking in one of the comments that I read this morning, can you please share pricing? And I usually do, like when I go to the grocery store, and often when I go to a lot of the hardware and department stores. So anyway, this was 750 pesos. And a 10 millimeter masonry bit that I need for the mounts for a television up inside the master bedroom upstairs. I picked up also, it's one of those, they call it full motion, and it's as close to the wall as possible that you mount your TV to up against the wall. I have that over there. Then in this box, and I'm not going to open up all the boxes right now, we'll get to this later on when we do the installation, but these are all the fixtures, the accessories for CR number 1. It's sort of like oil rub bronze. And I don't know what's in each one of the boxes, but one of the boxes is like a toothbrush holder, the soap holder, the towel rack, a rope hook, let's see what else inside there, a tissue holder, and the light. I think that's most of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 items that we have inside here. I'm probably missed. I think I just told you about 5. But we'll get to those as well. And I picked up some more of the tile grout waterproofing. This is the 750 milliliters that you use for instead of water for your grout, you use this. And it becomes a cementuous waterproofing. And this wasn't very expensive. I don't see the price on here right now. These are just the barcodes. Oh, I have the receipt. So the waterproofing was 160 pesos. The grout is 72.50 pesos. I didn't show you here. I already put them inside the CR. I got a clean out, and a clean out we're going to seal it so we don't have any gases or water leaking out around the Ptrap that goes into the wall. The Velcro type backing pad for all of those polishing pads, that was 259 pesos. Most of the polishing pads were in the range of 339 pesos. And this happened to be the most expensive item that I picked up yesterday. This is the diamond hole saw cutter. And one of the reasons why it was expensive, because it's 35 millimeter. It's actually pretty large for cutting holes. And that was 3,200 pesos. This is not something, if you really need to use this multiple times to get your investment back on this, and we will, because there are other projects that I need to use to cut for some of our fixtures as well. And this Ptrap right here, this small one right here, was 679, just a little over 679 pesos for this right here. And last but not least, the flexible Ptrap here was about 335 pesos. Those are the prices of all the items that I picked up yesterday. The items that I picked up from Laguna, the plants and things like that, I think, if I remember correctly, those 2 small terracotta pots with the bases together, that was 800 pesos. The plants, most of the plants are somewhere between, when you buy them out there, between 250 pesos each, up to around 600 pesos each, I think it was, maybe 500 pesos. And the big pot out front, that was, if I remember correctly, that was 600 pesos. I think that gives you a complete wrap up of what I bought yesterday and the prices of what I bought yesterday. Now I got all the stuff. Now I need to do something. Today I told you the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start work on the yard. Anthill and put some plants in the ground. Ness asked me to trim her Zen garden. Our gardener didn't do any gardening on the Zen garden while we were gone and while I was here. And I'm concerned because when you do like bonsai trimming and stuff like that, there's an art to that. So that's okay if he doesn't know how to do that, because you can actually butcher your trees up. So what Ness did, Ness sent me a picture. It was like a before picture, and the after picture is what it looks like right now. I'm going to try to blow up the picture she sent to me and try to get it more looking like the original. So the bulk of today is going to be gardening. So let me go ahead and get that started, and I think tomorrow we'll get back into working on the granite and some of the fixture installation and things here inside the house. Now, one thing I always like to do before I put my plant inside a pot is I like to put some rock aggregate in the bottom. I'm going to put it here inside the bottom, and that will provide drainage so the soil doesn't clog up the hole down there and prevent any of the water from setting in the bottom of the pot. Let me go ahead and do that now. Now the task of getting the plants in the planters are done. The next task I want to work on is going out and working on Nessa's Zen garden. I have to compare the original bonsai type of trimming side, and then I'll start trimming that as well. So 2 tasks today. The one's on the transplant of the flowers and the little palm tree from Pat and Jesse, and the plants in the pots inside here. I just did the cleanup. I actually cleaned up the entire first floor. It's amazing, short-haired dogs, how much hair that they shed. Hopone has made a mess around here. And the dust, when you have all the wind, and I always have the windows open, we have such a nice breeze here all day long, sometimes too much of a breeze, and it just stays nice and comfortable. Remember, I haven't even had to turn on the aircon units, but 2 days just for testing when I first turned them on. So it's actually nice and comfortable. I don't even have the fan on right now, and it's nice and comfortable here. So like I said, the next task is to go work out on a Zen garden, but first, grab a little bit of lunch and talk with Ness on Skype here. And my pizza's ready. I didn't tell you. I ordered out from Domino's. Domino's they have a special. I don't know if it was just yesterday or if it's for like a week. They have a buy one, take one free. So I bought one and I took one for free, and I got it inside the refrigerator, and I'm probably going to be eating pizza I had it for breakfast this morning. I'm having it for lunch. I will probably be, since it's just me here, I will probably be having pizza in the next 3 days. But that's okay. I like pizza. Well, here it is, the end of the day. It's pretty late in the day. I went into town. I went into the barangay, and I saw, it's been 2 weeks. I got back and I felt guilty. I haven't had a chance to talk to all my friends in the barangay, and I didn't know how it was going to feel going back there. I didn't know how I would be accepted after being gone for 4 months. But I got to tell you something great about the Philippines. When you leave and everybody has smiling faces and is happy, when you come back, no matter when you come back, it's exactly the same. It was like I just left yesterday. I went an overnight stay somewhere, and I came back the very next day, and nobody's changed. It was great walking down. I wish I would have taken the camera with me, but I felt like it was my first day back. I didn't want to impose on the entire community walking around with my camera on my shoulder. So we'll do that another time. I stopped by Michelle and Roy's. I got 5 kilos of some dog food for the pups, and that was one of the main reasons I had to go down there. But I also, the primary reason was I wanted to see everybody back in my hometown here of Anilao. So I got the dog food from Roy and Michelle. I went over to my good friend Mila, and Mila showed me all of her. She's so proud of her garden. I got to see her garden, and she showed me the dragon fruit and all the different varieties of palms and everything that she has inside there, and I had a nice chat session with her as well. I got to talk with Tess, and I got to talk with Lola Jan. As a matter of fact, I wanted to get dinner from Tess, but I got there too late. If you get there at 5 o'clock, it's all gone, so you have to get there a little bit early. But she did have some small scraps left over, and she most graciously gave me a bag, a takeout bag to take back with me. So thank you, Tess, for that as well. And many of my friends, Yolanda, all the children at Yolanda's stand, and over many of the people there. So I had a great time talking with everybody. Also, I talked with the barangay captain, and he told me that he wants to pick up one of the dogs. I don't know. He said he was going to come by on Friday morning to pick up one of the pups that we have here. We'll see. He wants the white one, but the white one's like crazy wild. We'll see. If he wants it for protection around the yard. It's a great dog, but if he wants it for like a house pet or something like that, it's gonna take some getting used to with that little crazy white pup. So what I want to do right now, before it gets too dark, I just want to do an overview of what was accomplished today. Remember, I started the morning, and I got a few plants planted over here from Jesse and Pat's house. And I just stopped by there, and I just talked with them and Henry, my good German friend over there. And they pulled a bunch more of these type of plants, even healthier than the ones you see here, and big bunches and very mature looking. And they put it aside, and I'm going to go over there and pick those up tomorrow. And you can see my wheelbarrow over here. My wheelbarrow is partially filled with debris from the other task I did today, and that is Nessa's Zen garden over here. Unfortunately, I didn't get to finish this today, but I did get some stuff manicured. Because you see these bushes over here, these crazy up against the fence and just unruly. Well, that's what all of this looked like over here. So I was able to get these things cut down similar to the original shape. They were neglected for 4 months. I guess I didn't leave instructions with my gardener on how to take care of this garden right here. Now, they might look kind of weak and skimpy right now from the cutting, and I assure you that's going to be what Nessa's going to say to me when I show her the pictures of these. I know she's going to be, what did you do with my bonsai plants that I had out there? Well, they're going to grow back. I assure you these are going to grow back. And this is how you do the manicuring of it. You trim it back and then you shape it as you go. Now, it had so much growth. Again, the growth on those looked exactly like this right here. There was nothing that was done, and it just grew wild. So we kind of went back a few steps, but it will promote the growth. Now, what happens when you cut all of these limbs off, all this dead stuff on the bottom, and you just leave this up here, what happens now, all the energy that was being sapped from this plant along the bottom, all of that energy is now going to go to these green little bushes here, and then we can shape them nice around and it'll look just like bonsai. But that's what I had to do with those. And I will finish this up tomorrow. I will clean this one up over here, and I will shape this one just like the other 2 or 3 that we have inside there. That was one of the things that was done today. One of the other tasks that I asked my gardener to do is to start working on removing the sand from the grass blocks. Remember, the sand was used to set everything and compact, and then to remove the sand for a couple of inches and put the topsoil or the soil that the organic soil that we're going to use for the sod little plugs that we're going to put inside here. I asked them, I want to start down here, I want to do here and start working my way up. So when we have these heavy rains, the sand doesn't go down inside here. Now you're probably going to say, oh, but what about the topsoil? Isn't the topsoil going to go inside there? Well, I hope not. I hope that once the grass starts growing, and let me show you what it looks like. We've already looked at this before, but when the grass does start growing, it becomes pretty solid, and the water will just go over, and it shouldn't lose any of the topsoil. It's going to end up looking just like this right here. And before I finish, I have one more thing I want to show you. Then I promised you a discussion about the 4th item on getting things accomplished. And I'm not that old. I did not forget that today. So what I want to do is I want to take you upstairs. Remember, I was working on that backsplash. I completed that yesterday, and I want to show you what it looks like after pretty much about 2.5 days worth of work. But it wasn't a full 2.5 days. Remember, I had other things going on. So let's go ahead and take a look at the backsplash in the breakfast bar. And also today, something I want to show you is some of the plants that I got in the pot. You remember, you saw in probably the time-lapse videography today, if I remember correctly that I did that. It was the plants that we got. The plant for the plant pot here on the front porch. And we'll look at the plant pots that are inside the sunroom. And as you can see over my shoulder here, on both sides of the rattan couch, I was able to get these taken care of as well. We have 2 plants now inside the sunroom, and it feels lively. And I got to tell you, I pulled the plastic off. You didn't see the rattan furniture inside here with the plastic pulled off yet. When I pulled the plastic, it's more of an antique kind of a white, or just a little bit of a lighter shade of the light color, the very light green that's here. So this is like a antique white, and that's like an antique light green there, and they complement each other, I think, really well. I'm happy with it. And the final task, which was the task that was completed yesterday, that you didn't get to see the final results, is the backsplash over here for the breakfast nook. And I've got to tell you, I think the F1 Bahama Beige Grout worked perfect for this tile. Before I close for today, I have a couple of shout outs. And these are, I think they're a little bit belated shout outs because, as you know, I haven't had any videos for the last couple of days. I hope it's not too dark out here right now. I'm doing this really late. I got the lights from the patio here, and hopefully that's enough light so that you can see me. I know you can hear me. So the last couple of days, the reason I didn't do it the first of the last couple of days was because it was pretty much a continuation of the backsplash tile in the breakfast nook. And the second day, I wish I would have taken you with me because I went to Laguna, Calamba Laguna, and I picked up those plants, and I got to talk with a lot of nice vendors there with some of the plant nurseries. It would have been a great video. The pot where there was pottery, different types of pottery and things like that. I will take you on the next trip when we do that. Well, a belated anniversary shout out goes to Wayne and Rosella, aka Rose Townsend, who are celebrating their 29th anniversary on August 14th. Anyway, to the two of you, happy anniversary. And a belated birthday shout out for August 13th from Manglu Papogi, who's sending a birthday shout out to Jason Agnes for his 29th birthday. And for yesterday, which was August 14th, I have a belated birthday shout out. And I have to read this. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to read this because I'm bad with names and we have some long names here. But the one that's sending it out is one of our big subscribers that you always see. I call him the doggy guy. He actually is a fan of lots of animals. If you go to his YouTube channel, he's a fan of dogs and cats and any type of birds and everything like that. Anyway, it is from Z Cabrera's, aka the doggy guy I call him. And it's for his daughter, Maria Sofia Cabrera Casado's birthday. Anyway, to both Maria and to Jason, I want to wish both of you a happy birthday. There was one tip I wanted to talk to you about, and it has to do with completion of a project. Remember, I said you can do anything you want to. I've stressed this over and over again in many of the videos that I talk about here in the Baje Kubo time and anything that has to do with a goal. Remember, I always say that there's three things. If you want anything bad enough, there's three things you have to do to make that successful. Remember, I always say it's a goal. You have to set a goal. You have to set an achievable goal. Then you have to have a plan for that goal. And then what you have to do, you have to execute that plan. You have to have the discipline to execute that plan. I need to add one more item in that list of things to successfully get things done. And I never thought about it before, but I'm saying it here as I'm building Villa Feliz, especially when my contractor's not here and I have things to do. And it has to do with organization. That is going to be the fourth item that you need to be successful, and to be successful and to be on time. Organization plays a key part of doing anything in your life, especially a massive project on a scope of building a house. Organization has to do mainly with things like ordering parts, knowing what parts to do, making sure you have a list, a to-do list, before you drive 60, 70, 100 kilometers to go pick up something and then get all the way back and realize that you left something out. Then you're going to have to do it over and over again. It will extend the amount of time it takes you to do that, and I've done that plenty of times here at Villa Feliz. So remember, goal, and then you have a plan, you have execution, and you have organization. If you take those four things and you stick to all of those, then the sky is the limit to what you can accomplish. Well, anyway, I'm going to close for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Tomorrow, I'm not really sure. I have lots of things to do. You remember the bag of goodies that I got from the hardware store? I will do something. I got holes in the wall to drill. I have more gardening to do. I did finish Nessa's Zen garden today. I remember I still had that one bush that has to be done. And there are just so many things that need to be done. But I will share that. I'm pretty sure tomorrow I will carry the camera around with me when I do things. So anyway, until tomorrow, if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. Please share. And if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You will be subscribed and you will be notified the next time I upload a new video. So anyway, until tomorrow, you have a wonderful and blessed day.